What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to tonight's Anfield Agenda 10-minute transfer roundup. I just realised I haven't introduced myself because I realised there might be a new audience that start to watch the shorter form content. My name is Craig, by the way, and I'm the host here on Anfield Agenda. If you ever want to catch us live, you can come over to our Twitch channel. The link of that is in the description. Twitch most nights about 8:30 we do our live stuff. All watch alongs for the season, all the usual stuff you'd expect. You can find over there for the 2022-23 season. Do let me know your thoughts on whatever I speak about in this video. Darwin Nunez, Sadio Mane. Drop a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button for me. Right, let's get stuck into it. Start the clock. Right, Darwin Nunez. It is all done, dealed and agreed. Now, there is a little bit of a caveat to this one. Not in the deal. That's done. I'll go through that in more detail in a second. But we've been talking all week, both myself, Fabrizio Romano, everybody's been talking about Darwin Nunez signing on a 5-year contract. As per Fabrizio yesterday, that was changed. That is now going to be a 6-year contract. So Darwin Nunez, when he arrives tomorrow for his medical in the UK, will sign a contract that will keep him at Liverpool Football Club until 2028. No big deal. That's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. He's at the club for longer. Less chance of a contract running down. I'm fine with it. So where are we with this? Right now, he is currently in Madrid. He has flown from Montevideo, I think it was the capital of Uruguay, over to Madrid. He will fly into the UK to complete his medical. Liverpool usually conduct the medicals at the Spire Hospital, and then he will put pen to paper on a 6-year contract on which he will earn around 6 million per season. Now, I don't know if that's going to be 6 million euro or 6 million pound, but either way, 6 million seems to be the accepted figure for Darwin Nunez's contract. A couple of other things on this that we need to fill you in on: the breakdown of the deal. Yes, I am reading from my note to the right of the screen here. The initial fee is going to be £64 million. There will be £12.8 million in add-ons based on appearances for the club, and a further £8.5 million in add-ons based on the team's success. Keep in mind as well that Almeria were entitled to 20% sell-on fee for anything over the €24 million that Benfica paid Almeria to take him from Spain over to Portugal. So that will have been taken into account while these were ironed out, these details. On top of that, as I said, it will be a 6-year deal, around €6 million salary per season. And that's pretty much the big breaking news on Darwin Nunez, other than who convinced them to come to Liverpool. This is an interesting little tidbit of information that has come out over the past day or so. Apparently, when we played them in April, not just Jurgen Klopp, but Virgil van Dijk had a little word with Mr. Nunez. So what I think we can take from this, my friends, is that if Jurgen Klopp singles out players, we should be keeping an eye on it. You know, he singled out Jude Bellingham. You know where I stand on that one. But if you think about other players, Van Dijk, he made a beeline for previously when we played against Southampton. So do keep an eye on this, because when Klopp speaks, he usually wants to act. Takumi Minamino, when we played Salzburg, there was loads of talk in our training ground around how impressed they were with Minamino in that game. Little did they know that Jurgen Klopp and Michael Edwards at the time had already been in contact with Salzburg, had found out that he had a buyout clause, and were about to trigger it. So once again, I would say that our transfer business has been irreproachable, is the word that I'd use. It's been a big word, that, for me, isn't it? I hope I've used it in the right context. Anyway, maybe I haven't. Don't know. But look, people are going to try and rain on our parade as Liverpool fans right now. I've seen people try and say it's a £100 million transfer. It isn't. It'll probably work out in the early 80s all in, and it probably will be the club's record transfer fee when all is said and done, eclipsing the £75 million that we paid Southampton for Virgil van Dijk, and I think the 70 million or so that we paid Roma for Alisson Becker. That's all well and good for me. I don't mind it. He is going to be, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be bold, he is going to be a future Ballon d'Or winner. He is going to score 20 Premier League goals next season, and I hope he will be the centre forward that goes head to head with Erling Haaland in the next 5, 6, 7 years to be the greatest on the planet. I'm not going to sit here and say that when Manchester City signed Haaland, my heart didn't sink a bit. He's brilliant. He's a great player. City have got themselves an outstanding centre forward. And again, on that deal in particular, people think I'm salty. Go back and watch my video when Manchester City signed Erling Haaland. my entire video was basically going, I'm the first one to have a dig at Manchester City, but there's no dig to be had around Haaland. It was a very, very good fee because of the buyout clause. The agents' fees, look, there's agents' fees involved in every deal. Yes, they may have been a little bit extra in that one, but they sold Ferran Torres. They have cleared the way for that transfer to be affordable. So full credit to Manchester City on Haaland. There's no bitterness for me on that one. But I'm excited about the future of Darwin Nunez at Liverpool. We still don't know what number Darwin Nunez may wear. Obviously, with Mane moving on, I will move on to Sadio in a second. It could be 10, but he doesn't feel like a 10, does he? I would say maybe someone like Carvalho as a 10. And maybe we'll see him take a temporary number and we'll see him maybe grab 24. I think perhaps he wore at Penarol or Almeria, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe when Firmino moves on at the end of the season, he'll take the 9. I don't know. On Sadio Mane, I've always told you these two deals were linked and not linked, if you get me. Like, obviously there's no correlation between Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Benfica with regards to how this deal works out. But Liverpool were never going to release the funds or commit to selling, to buying Darwin Nunez without getting the money in for Sadio Mane. So we will see Bayern Munich pay close to the 40 million that we're asking for. There were reports in the media suggested that Bayern Munich were willing to look at other options. No, they weren't. Not true. Nagelsmann wanted Sadio Mane. He singled out Sadio Mane because, being the clever man that he is, he knew Sadio may be possible to get this summer. And he wanted Sadio Mane to freshen up and to revitalise that Bayern Munich attack, knowing that they could well lose the almost irreplaceable Robert Lewandowski. So I never bought into we're looking at other targets nonsense. They weren't. It was a negotiating tactic. They will sign Sadio Mane. He will go there, and I'm sure he'll be a very good player for them. And I wish Sadio Mane all the very best, except when we play him. Can't but love Sadio. I think he should go with a massive thank you, pat on the back, and we'll see you in the Champions League. Interestingly, on Robert Lewandowski, a story that had been doing the rounds in the past, 24, 48 hours. I'm a little bit behind on United stuff, though. It could be longer. Suggests that if he doesn't get his move to Barcelona, that he may well end up at Manchester United. I think, from United's perspective, that'd be all right, because United are one of the few clubs I think can afford to somewhat think short term. And look, if you're signing 33-year-old Lewandowski, you're not planning for the next 10 years. But he could be, along with Ronaldo, a catalyst to push United back into those Champions League spots that they need to get into. So do keep an eye on that whole situation as well. From Liverpool's perspective, what else? We're still waiting on some confirmation of what will happen with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I don't believe the links to Manchester United, but a Newcastle, a West Ham, anywhere else there really I can think about? Newcastle, West Ham. There was one more club, escaped my mind. Newcastle, Villa. Yes, Steven Gerrard and Villa. Keep an eye on that. I think, you have to keep a look into Alex as a young family. Will he look to move back up to the north of the country where his partner's from? We'll wait and see. I just, again, wish Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain all the best. But look, how are Liverpool going to fund the Darwin Nunez transfer? That's something that I'd seen a lot of talk about, mainly from opposition fans who are trying to call Liverpool hypocrites. Again, we aren't. We can afford it because we've cut our cloth accordingly in seasons gone by. We are about to sell Sadio Mane for 40 million, which is nearly half the transfer fee for Nunez. We will then most likely sell Takumi Minamino. Monaco have been the front runners with that Arlene Tchouameni money to get Takumi Minamino from Liverpool. There have been interest from Wolves as well. I think one or two other clubs off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank, but I think Takumi Minamino to Monaco is probably a good fit, actually. So I would expect that to potentially happen, but I do expect him to move on. And that will help fund the deal. There's been talk around a couple of other fringe players moving on. And of course, look, we will have a few bob to spend in the market because we're a well-run club. Other than that, the only real gossip from the last few days has been, and I think I mentioned it on yesterday's video, the talk that Nat Phillips could go on loan again to Bournemouth for the season ahead. I was going to say Bournemouth because they're a club. He may go on loan to Bournemouth with a view to him being a potential long-term Joel Matip successor, and I don't hate that. It'll be interesting to see if it works out, but do keep an eye on that situation. The Creevin Kelleher thing, I'm still scratching my head to figure out what's going to happen there, because if we do lose Kelleher, We got to get a keeper in. And right now, I mean, Queeveen's as good an understudy, as good a number two as I think we could possibly hope for. So, from that perspective, we'll wait and see. Think that pretty much brings us towards a close on this one, my friends. So just to reiterate, Darwin Nunez will score 20 Premier League goals. Darwin Nunez will be a future Ballon d'Or contender, and I will die on this hill. Oh, I will. Oh, God, I will. I will defend this boy to the end of the earth now. And yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's 10-minute transfer roundup. As always, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And yeah, I will chat to you same time, same place tomorrow. Boom.